time of the temple, there was a positive commandment that all Jews, men, women, and even children, partook of the Paschal lamb. On the 14th of the month of Nisan, this is what we call Erev Pesach. The Passover festival starts at the 15th. After midday, one had to have a financial interest in the goat or the sheep prior to its slaughtering. If one did not have a financial interest, he could not partake of that particular animal, the sheep or the lamb. One had an obligation to eat, minimally, the volume of an olive of meat of that sheep or goat. And this was the fulfillment of the positive commandment of eating the Paschal lamb. When was it eaten? It was eaten at the night. During the night, the Seder night, together with the matzah, together with the bitter herbs. And this was its fulfillment. Today, because we have no temple, and also the meat had to be broiled. It cannot be cooked. It cannot be eaten semi-raw. It had to be fully broiled. What happens if one does not participate in the Paschal lamb, which is only a positive commandment? Normally, based on the severity of transgression, that will determine the level of liability to the individual. Normally, if one does not fulfill a positive commandment, the Torah doesn't speak about levels of liability or the degree of liability. However, the two positive commandments, if one does not fulfill them, is not proactive, he refrains, he remains in a passive state, the liability is spiritual excision. That is the non-fulfillment of participating in the Paschal lamb, and the other is a male Jew who has an obligation to be circumcised. If he does not circumcise himself, or does not allow himself to be circumcised, the liability is spiritual excision, which is very interesting. These are the only two exceptions. Of all the 248 positive commandments, which the Torah does not even allude to the degree of liability, these two the Torah singles out. The non-participation of the Paschal lamb regarding eating it, and circumcision. The liability is so severe, spiritual excision, that a person is excised from God. The question is, why these? What is unique and special? And why these so integral to the essence of a Jew? And therefore, if he doesn't participate, because it is so integral, the person has no relevance to God, which is the meaning of spiritual excision. He's excised from God. The Midrash tells us that the Jews in Egypt, we became pagans. The sheep, the goat, was the deity of the Egyptians. When we were given the commandment, the positive commandment, to slaughter the Paschal lamb in Egypt,